You're watching News 24 Live and I'm Jerusha Sukthia Rath. Now think back to high school and remember when you had to carry around either a bag of flour, a baby doll or even an egg like I had to, all to teach you the importance of understanding what you're doing when you're having sex, because of course sex often leads to babies. But a high school in the Western Cape is taking things to a digital level by really explaining to students the responsibilities that come with having children. Now, principal of the high school, Dave Swart, is joining me in studio along with two students, Francesca and Brandon, and they're going to speak to us a little bit more about the initiative. Thank you all so much for joining me today.
Thank you very much.
Dave, I'm going to start with you. Won't you explain to us, what am I seeing here and what is this initiative?
Okay, so what we did, we started this 2 years ago, where we were having these talks with the children about the responsibility of having children and all of that, and we then came up with the idea to do a 10-day project where we give them a bag of flour, which is then their baby that they need to look after. But at the same time, we created a digital diary for them. So we randomly throughout the day and the night send them SMSs to their cell phones, and they have got 5 minutes in which they need to reply. So the SMSs typically would say, it's time to feed your baby, and then it's time to burp your baby, or it's bath time, or it's family time. And they then have to reply with what they are doing on the SMS, but they also need to take photos that they post onto a web page that we've started at the school, so that we can keep track of what they are doing and how they are doing it. And the project was really just to bring home this whole thing about, it's easy to say that I'm ready to have a baby when you're in grade 8 and 9, but to actually have a child at that age is a completely different story. So we have been trying to teach them through actually showing them what the responsibilities are of having a child, what the costs are involved, and of course the time. The time for them is the thing that's been the hardest.
Now, of course, in my day, we were given an egg or a bag of flour, and most of us kind of forgot the bag of flour under a car, our parents' seats in the car, or I broke my egg many times, purely because it wasn't constantly reminding me like an actual baby would. I'm here, I need to be fed, I need to be loved, I need to be changed. But this is really what this SMS does. So typically, what time are students receiving these SMSs?
Well, they receive them through the day. While they're at school, it's not that hectic, but they would receive sort of 4 SMSs during the day. But come 5 o'clock, then they will start receiving them, and some of them have received up to 12 SMSs through the night. And it's at random time. We've put them into different groups, so they will get different messages at different times. But typically 10 to 1, quarter to 4, 10 to 5, and they have to reply to those SMSs, because what we've done is we've also linked it to the parent's cell phone, so that the parents can wake them up and make sure that they're responding. So it's been fun.
Francesca, that was a bit of a nervous giggle on your part there. Has it been a taxing process for you?
It has. Like, I come to school and I'm like, oh, I didn't do that homework. Like, let me quickly do it. Because you get so tired of doing stuff. And you're like, okay, let's go sleep quickly. And then when you wake up, it's so late. And then you've missed some baby messages. So it's quite hectic.
Now, how many times a night are you getting messages? How many times a night are you waking up?
Last night I woke up 4 times, but over the weekend I woke up about 5-6 times. And sometimes it's close, sometimes it's extremely far away, so you can't stay up.
Brandon, tell us a little bit about the baby that you're holding. I hear that the baby has a name.
Baby's name is Dominic.
Uh-huh.
Well, when I first got him, I thought it's a sack of flour. And then the SMSs started coming through. Feed your baby, burp your baby. Baby needs bonding time. It's quite strenuous. I mean, it takes a lot of your sleep, as Francesca says. We don't get much sleep because it's constant reminders after one another. It's quite hectic.
How has your family responded to these messages? Because of course it's coming through to not only your phone, but your parents know what's happening. This is a real family effort.
Yeah, my whole family got together. We really got the baby, well, how can I say now, we introduced the baby properly into the family. Everyone's started laughing at first because they thought it was a bit funny. But after the first night, they realized what I'm also going through. It's quite hectic. you have to wake up every night, and it's like after each other. And them getting the SMSs as well, it really, how can I say this?
Like a wake-up call thing.
Yeah, that they also experience what we're experiencing. Because if you're going to have a real child and you're a teenager, your parents are also going to have to wake up to that. Because the baby's not going to stop crying like as your phone would. You can turn your phone off, you can answer the messages, sound stops. Baby won't happen. The baby's going to continue crying until you get the job done.
Now, Francesca, when I initially saw your doll, I thought, oh, it's so cute and probably a bit light, but it isn't. That doll is 2.5 kilograms of flour that you've attached head and arms to. Can I have a look at what is your baby's name?
Isabel Abriana.
Isabel. Oh my goodness, Isabel is so heavy. Now, Isabel is a sack of flour in here, and you have to take Isabel everywhere you go. You can't leave her in your bedroom and lock the door.
No, it's not that easy. You get so attached. Like I went out and I said, okay, I'll just leave her here because I can't take her. And then you're like, come on, we need to go home. I feel like there's too much distance.
Yeah. So, you know, it's not just according to the rules, yeah, I'll give Isabel back to you, that you need to carry her around with you, but I guess you're starting to understand the attachment to something or the responsibility that you have for something.
Yes. It's a great responsibility, but I don't think I'm ready. Like the prices, they're not great.
Brandon, speak to us about your day-to-day and how it's changed since you've had Dominic the flour bag baby in your life.
Well, before I got the baby, my day was like any other teenager. Wake up, get ready for school, go to school, come home, homework, sleep. Completely changed. I don't get sleep anymore. Sleep is a treasure that you have to go fight for.
Right.
Yeah, you got to get up, you've got to answer the baby messages in the morning, you've got to make sure your baby's with you, otherwise you get sent to, what's that place called?
The welfare.
Yeah, the welfare office.
My word, so this is more complicated than it seems. There are almost real life implications for neglecting your baby. Dave, talk to us a little bit about that.
Well, I am the welfare officer, so if a child is found at school that's been just left lying around, it will be handed into the welfare office, and they then have got to come to me and come and give me reasons why they need to get the baby back. If there's any kind of neglect or serious issue that occurs, then that child needs to go through counselling. So we actually set up a counselling session with them to explain to them why it is important to make sure that the baby's with you all the time. You know, we try and make it as real as possible. We also have a doctor at school, so that if the baby's sick and they don't know how to handle the messages they get, then they can go and contact the doctor and ask the doctor for help. So it's as close to reality as what we can get it.
Now, Dave, you've obviously been in the education field for a long time, and like you've mentioned, this project is just 2 years old. In your experience, how has this project with the interactive messaging and the all-night beeps differed from the way things used to be done when it comes to teaching teenagers about parenthood?
You know, I did an interview earlier today and they asked me what is my standing on condoms. Should condoms be handed out at school? And my answer to them was the thing that we should do at schools is to educate our children into how to make healthy choices. It's easy just to give a child a condom and say don't have sex or have safe sex. But this is different because we make it as close to reality as what we can. And there are consequences. If they've left their child at home, they get detention. So, which is a Friday afternoon 2-hour detention session for them. Because there are real consequences in life if you neglect your child. In the olden days, when we did the egg thing and the bag of flour, it was a joke. It was more, oh, you know what, yes, let's do this for a couple of days and we have some fun with it. This has been a 10-day period where we have actually been quite hard on them. Because life is hard on you when you, as a teenager, fall pregnant. It impacts on the family, which is why the family is involved. So the message that we want to give to these children is that you do have choices. And we are trying to educate you into how to making the correct choices. So, the message that we want to give to these children is that you do have choices. And we are trying to educate you into how to making the correct choices. So, we are trying to educate you into how to making the correct choices. So, the message that we want to give to these children is that you do have choices. And we are trying to educate you into how to making the correct choices. So, it's a whole new ball game we're playing. We've got currently in South Africa in the last year 21,000 teenagers pregnant in our schools in South Africa. That is a huge amount of children pregnant. And it is affecting those families, and it is affecting that child and that child's future. So yesterdays where you couldn't go back to school and finish matric, those days don't exist anymore. So they can go back, they can finish, they can go and study further, but they can't get rid of their baby. So that is the message that we want to give these youngsters, is that there's a time in life for everything. Enjoy your years when you are a teenager, study, work hard, get you where you want to be, and then you think about having a family. So it's all about planning for the future.
Now, of course, some things in life are completely unplanned, and you realize this, which is why some of your students have twins.
Yes.
Tell us about that.
They were terribly shocked when we handed out their twins, but you know what, that happens. Sometimes you don't expect to have twins, and when you get to the day, then you realize you have twins. So we have 5 sets of twins in school currently, and those children are having a really hard time. Because the one little boy said to me, grade 9, said to me, he's only got 2 hands, but he's got 2 babies in his hands all the time. What must he do? So I said to him, well, then you need to ask for help. And you need to realize that when you have a child at this age, you're going to have to ask for your mother's help, or your teacher's help, or your friend's help. So yes, that's an extended lesson that they've got to learn, is that you can't do this on your own.
Now, this is across the high school. You've got learners from grade 8 all the way to matric participating in this program. Why was it important for you to start this program in grade 8?
In grade 8, they come into the high school. They suddenly are part of a completely different way of doing things. They get to a different developmental stage in their lives, and they start inquiring about things like that. You know, what is sex? I mean, today they can tell you that in primary school already. But they start asking questions. So it was important for us to teach them from that age that just because you're in grade 8 doesn't mean you can't fall pregnant. It's not only the grade 11s and 12s that do it, which is why we also included the boys in it. Because yes, a woman has got to give birth to the child, but you both had a role to play, and you both need to look after that child. So that is why the boys were included also from grade 8 to grade 12. And it's important for them. Children these days are getting involved in these things younger and younger. I mean, we know of about 2,500 children in the primary schools that are pregnant. So possibly the next time we do this thing, we will extend it to the lower grades. But at the moment, I think our purpose has been served starting with the grade 8s, because that's where most of our questions are coming from.
Francesca, what have you learned through this process, and has your thinking changed since you've had to carry around your baby?
In the beginning, I thought, oh, okay, baby project again, it's fine, I'll deal with it. But then I realized that you see babies, oh, they're so cute, but not when they wake you up. It's just not fun. And my thinking has really changed from wanting a child, obviously not now, but to have it much, much later in life when I'm financially stable and have a house and everything, that I can actually pay for it myself, not have to rely on everyone around me. With the prices, you can't do that now.
Brandon, why don't you tell us what have you learned through this process?
Well, as Mr. Swart said, it's not just the woman that gives birth, it takes two to tango. And I mean, it's a burden, it's quite hectic. But at the end of the day, if you have a real child, it's going to be different. I mean, yeah, it's organized, you know. With a child, nothing's prepared. You can't really prepare for a child, because there's so many things that can go wrong, so many things that can go right. It's really changed my mindset. I mean, yes, I would love a child one day, but like Francesca said, way older.
Now, how many more days do you have left on the program?
Well, we have till Friday, and then we give our babies back, I think.
And in a strange way, Francesca, do you think it will be strange to suddenly be without the baby and without those messages keeping you up after this 10-day period?
I think it probably will, because I've gotten so used to waking up even before the SMSs come. It's so weird, and I've grown attached. Like when you go to school, it's like, okay, come, let's go. And then when you get home, okay, you're going to sleep now, I'm going to do my homework. And then you get an SMS and it's like, that just ruined my concentration. Now I have to play with you for a bit and then carry on.
Well, I think that you guys are doing splendid jobs. Your babies look intact, and Dave, I'm sure they're responding to their messages in time. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.